I've never really been too much in depth with this guy, because this guy was the most bizarre predator I've seen.
Where are you going? Wait, I gotta talk to you.
The internet is filled with creepy content, but some videos go beyond disturbing, like this one, for example. The video involves a chilling Facebook post made by a user named Jose de Jesus. In the post, he simply wrote, "I just got this image and video. Very scary." Attached were 2 photos and 3 video clips, all relating to a high-speed street race that took place at night on the N1 freeway in Cape Town, South Africa. Curious for more context, I looked into the incident. What I found was deeply unsettling. The footage, captured by bystanders standing on an overpass, shows the race unfolding at breakneck speeds. And then, one of the cars loses control.
Yo, masuk terus. Susah ni bro man. Yo. Is that a fucking beam?
Ja, hij is M3. Hij is M3.
Kamu tahu bro.
The video captures the horrifying moment the car swerves violently and crashes directly into the median at full force. It's not just the crash that's disturbing, it's the speed. According to the image attached in Jose's post, the car was traveling at nearly 192 miles per hour, or 312 kilometers per hour. At that velocity, even a minor mistake becomes catastrophic. But things only get worse. One of the videos shows footage taken from inside the car, recorded by the passenger during the race. Watching it puts everything into perspective. The reckless speed, the lack of caution. It's terrifying. And then the camera cuts out, violently, just before the crash. But the most disturbing part of Jose's post? The final video. This one is not something I'm going to show uncensored. In it, you hear the agonizing cries of the driver, still alive, as doctors work frantically to keep him stable. A censored version exists, and even that is difficult to watch. From what I was able to glimpse, part of the car's door frame was embedded in his skull. And somehow, he survived. He remains in critical condition, but alive. A miracle, considering the severity of his injuries. This incident is a brutal reminder of just how fast things can go wrong. Behind the thrill of illegal racing lies a terrifying reality. And this driver, along with his passenger, learned that in the most horrific way possible. What's perhaps most fortunate and shocking is that no bystanders were harmed. Because at 312 kilometers per hour, this story could have ended much, much worse. It's a stark reminder to be mindful of your actions, just like in this next video, where the people involved weren't so lucky and never got the chance to tell their story. Quick interruption. If you're enjoying this video, why not hit that subscribe button? We're on a mission to hit 300,000 subscribers, and when we do, 3 lucky fans will win a limited edition items. Right now, 61.2% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. We're pushing for at least 40%, and we need your help to make it happen. It's completely free, and your support helps us make even more awesome videos. So, don't miss out, subscribe now, and let's get back to the video. This next video takes us back to a deeply tragic video that was uploaded to YouTube in 2013 under the title, "Couple Drowns in Front of Camera." The video lasts around 7 minutes and captures what was supposed to be a peaceful and joyful moment between a young couple, 22-year-old Mohammed Dayan and his newlywed wife, during their one-year honeymoon spent near a quiet pond in the Bani Bus region, just south of Sana'a, Yemen. The footage itself was filmed by Mohammed using his phone, which he carefully placed on a nearby rock to record a seemingly innocent and romantic scene of the two embracing. For the first part of the video, everything appears to be going just fine as the couple smile, laugh, and enjoy each other's company in the calm setting of nature. However, that moment of serenity is quickly interrupted when Mohammed suddenly appears to slip, as seen between timestamps. And in a desperate attempt to save himself, reaches for his wife to hold on to her. Just seconds later, she too is pulled into the water. What follows is one of the most heart-wrenching sequences imaginable, as the two struggle, thrash, and cry out, attempting to make their way back to the shore. Despite their efforts, panic sets in, and after a minute of pure chaos, both individuals eventually submerge and are no longer seen on camera for the remainder of the footage. What makes this even more tragic is the understanding that if Mohammed hadn't instinctively clung to his wife in panic, she might have been able to get away. Or if either of them had known how to swim or kept calm under pressure, the outcome may have been entirely different. This video is a chilling reminder of how easily a serene moment can spiral into irreversible tragedy and highlights the critical importance of water safety. No matter how calm a body of water might appear, whether it's a lake, a pond, a river, or even a shallow creek, proper precautions and the ability to swim are not optional luxuries, but vital skills that could be the difference between life and death in an unexpected moment of crisis. It's always heartbreaking to see a life end in such a tragic way. But what's even more unsettling is when death doesn't stay where it belongs, and instead comes back to visit. That's exactly what seems to happen in this next clip, captured in July of last year. A Facebook post began making the rounds, shared by a user named Kiana. She claimed that strange things had been happening to her for quite some time. But the story really starts about 3 years earlier, with a photo. According to Kiana, she snapped a quick selfie using her front-facing flash. Later, she noticed something she hadn't seen at the time, a face in the background. Friends told her it was probably her younger brother or someone else in the house. But Kiana insists that's impossible. She explains that she and her brother are both dark-skinned, and with front-facing flash, you wouldn't see someone in the background that clearly, especially not in a pitch-dark room. And besides, she was home alone. People brushed it off, called it fake. But to her, it never was. Over the years, she says little things kept happening. Lights switching off on their own, objects moving right in front of her eyes. She tried to ignore it, until one night, something finally pushed her over the edge. She was casually filming a sweet video of her cat when something unexpected happened. First, here's the photo in question. If you can't spot what she's referring to, here's an enhanced version. The circled area shows what looks like a face, partially hidden in the shadows. And now, the video. Everything seems normal, until the cat suddenly jumps back, sharply and without warning, as if reacting to something behind the camera. Kiana didn't see anything in the moment. But the reaction? That part was real. She hasn't posted much since, but this post remains, a snapshot of her experience that feels just a little too real to ignore. So, what would you do if it were your home? And something was watching from just out of view? Let me know in the comments. But what I'm even more curious about is what you'll make of this next video, captured by the channel Anxiety War, a YouTube account I've personally followed for years. And if you're familiar with it, then you already know why it leaves such a lasting impression. The channel was run by a man named Zach, a vigilante-style content creator who dedicated his time to exposing online child predators. His method was intense. He'd pose as a minor online, gain the trust of suspected predators, and then confront them on camera. It wasn't just entertainment. It was real, raw, and led to actual arrests. 7 men ended up behind bars because of Zach's efforts, but that success came at a cost. Zach was sued by 2 of the men he exposed. Police began scrutinizing his actions, and YouTube cracked down, forcing him to move his videos off-platform for a while. Today, if you visit his channel, you'll notice the content has taken a complete 180. The old confrontations are mostly gone, except for one surviving video that shows exactly what Anxiety War used to be.
I could write a book about all the lies and misconceptions that you hear in the media and in the comment section. Or I can encapsulate that all just by sharing one experience I had recently. And that was, someone said that I had become overweight. I've never really been too much in depth with this guy. But I think my experiences with him, what he has done, should be highlighted, unlike some of the other people that I've confronted. Because this guy was the most bizarre predator I've seen. And it was really crazy. I think everyone should see what all this guy has done. And I wanted to emphasize a point that I made in my previous video: how dangerous it is to confront him and how stupid it is, given that there have been real victims. He said, "Here's a pic I won't get in trouble for." And in the very next photo, he unveiled what he was hiding and said, "Oops." I think that was a fairly good intro for him. He sent another photo. "I'm thinking there's nothing wrong with showing you a picture of my balcony." And there he stood.
He's gonna turn right, probably. If he turns right, that's our guy. Oh, dude, he's gonna turn right. It's him. It's him.
What he was doing was he bypassed Taco Bell and he went around the back, and he was combing the area behind Taco Bell. He was going through all these little side streets and stuff. I know the area very well. So I knew what he was doing, and at one point we went right by each other, and then I saw his face, and of course I'm just some 20-year-old in a car, but we bypassed each other. I thought, that's the dude, and I was just so excited. I knew I would see him at Taco Bell. Eventually, I knew eventually he would settle. I knew he had a lot to lose. I feared me saying, "Hey, dude, what you did is sick and wrong, and I know you did this, and I know you did that, etc., etc." I feared talking about that because I didn't want him to react a certain way. So I left it at that. I just said, "Hey, how you doing?" I'll show you the video.
Wow. How's it going? Where are you going? All right, stay here. Wait, I gotta talk to you. He's leaving. What a loser. He's after the little girl.
In one of the most bizarre encounters he's ever shared, Zach confronts a predator who had sent explicit videos and images to what he believed was a young girl. The footage is uncomfortable, real, and unforgettable. Zach's fall from YouTube didn't just silence him, it inspired a movement. People across the globe began uploading similar stings under names like creep catchers, everyday citizens with cameras trying to expose predators in their own towns. The problem? These people often live double lives. Behind family photos and everyday jobs, they're hiding something truly disturbing. And when they're caught, their excuses are always the same. I just wanted to teach them a lesson. Zach and others like him were doing the work law enforcement often couldn't or wouldn't. And while controversial, their efforts revealed something important. The internet, the same one you hand to your children every day, is filled with people who don't deserve that access. Maybe one day, there'll be a way for civilians and law enforcement to work together safely. Until then, content like this stands as a reminder that evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. And the same could be said for this next video, one that stayed with me for a very long time, ever since I first came across it. On August 8, 2013, the night a man named Brandon Lawson vanished under circumstances that continue to puzzle both investigators and the public to this day. It all began after Brandon got into a heated argument with his longtime girlfriend, Ladessa Lofton, and feeling the need for space and a chance to cool off, he decided to leave the house and called his father to ask if he could drive 3 hours to stay the night at his place. Something his father tried to talk him out of, given how late it was. But Brandon, determined to get away, set off from his San Angelo home at 11:54 p.m., heading toward Crowley, Texas. Roughly 40 miles into the drive, his car ran out of gas, and he was forced to pull over along a desolate stretch of Highway 277 near Bronte, Texas, after which he phoned his brother Kyle for help. When Kyle arrived shortly after, Brandon was no longer at the scene, and despite searching the area thoroughly, there was no trace of him anywhere. It wasn't until the next day that the family discovered something chilling. Just moments after speaking with Kyle, Brandon had placed a 911 call, one that would later become central to one of the most disturbing missing persons cases in recent memory. In that call, which you can hear now.
9/2013 0:50 and 38 seconds. 911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The Staple just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here and got chased to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me. One
I'm
more.
not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? 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 Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance? Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance? Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance? Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Brandon sounds panicked, disoriented, and clearly afraid, making fragmented statements that seem to suggest he is being chased or watched, saying things like, "Yes, I'm in the middle of a field," and "There's guys chasing me," with the call cutting in and out and leaving more questions than answers. Over the years, the audio has fueled countless theories, debates, and speculations online. Yet to this day, there remains no clear explanation as to what happened that night. What makes this case especially troubling is that law enforcement initially hesitated to take it seriously. Due to outstanding warrants Brandon had at the time, police assumed he had voluntarily disappeared to avoid arrest and didn't prioritize the case, expecting him to resurface eventually. But he never did. His family, however, firmly believes that Brandon would never abandon his 4 children, and they have consistently rejected the idea that he fled on purpose. To many, the lack of urgency in the police response felt like the case was quietly pushed aside, and that sense of neglect only deepened the mystery. Listening to the desperation in Brandon's voice during that 911 call, it becomes painfully clear that he believed he was in danger. And what makes it even more unsettling is the strong impression that he wasn't alone during that final call. Being stranded in the middle of nowhere, in the dead of night, just 40 miles from home, with fear creeping into his every word. It leaves you wondering not just what happened, but how something like this could go unresolved for so long, with no solid answers and no closure for the people who knew and loved him. But there are more mysteries lurking in the dark, like this one, captured back in August. A strange and unsettling event took the internet by storm after peculiar footage emerged from the early morning hours of August 24th. According to a Facebook post, at exactly 3:20 a.m., a resident in the Sunrise Ranch subdivision of Montgomery, Texas, was suddenly awakened by the repeated ringing of their doorbell, and upon reviewing their home security footage, they were shocked by what they saw and immediately contacted the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, who have since opened an official investigation into the disturbing incident. The surveillance video, captured by the resident's doorbell camera and time-stamped. It shows a woman appearing at the doorstep barefoot and wearing only a t-shirt, visibly distressed, with what look like shackles or restraints hanging from her wrists. A sight that would alarm anyone, let alone someone viewing it in the middle of the night. As one neighbor described it, "We were dead asleep in our beds. My husband was awoken by the doorbell. It rang probably 20 to 30 times. Which paints a terrifying picture of the panic and desperation that this unknown woman must have been experiencing. After the footage was shared online, it spread quickly and sparked mass concern and speculation, especially since the woman seemed to vanish without a trace and no one could locate or identify her in the hours and days that followed, leading local authorities and community members to launch an urgent search effort. The mystery surrounding who she was and what had happened to her deepened even further when, on August 29th, just 5 days later, another disturbing event occurred in the same neighborhood. A man named Dennis Collins was found deceased in an apparent suicide, and in a note he left behind, he confirmed that the unidentified woman in the video was, in fact, his girlfriend. According to an official statement from the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, the woman was a victim of domestic violence, and on the night she rang the doorbells, she was running for her life and in great fear for her safety. Fortunately, she was later found safe and is now cooperating with law enforcement as they continue their investigation into the events that took place. This case, as shocking as it is, serves as a stark reminder that situations of domestic abuse can unfold silently, even right next door, and that danger can sometimes present itself in the most unexpected of ways. In this case, in the form of a terrified woman desperately ringing doorbells in the dead of night, simply hoping that someone would open the door. And these kinds of strange, unexplainable events happen more often than you might think, just like in this next video. Phenomenrum, or by its English translation, space phenomenon, is a video I stumbled across thanks to a Twitter user who swore they found it randomly in the related videos section. They had been watching a piece on a French novel, and suddenly this popped up. Naturally, I was curious, so I checked it out. And what I saw was strange, and honestly, a little disturbing. Take a look. The video, titled Space Phenomenon, seems to be some sort of abstract art project. But almost immediately, a pattern begins to emerge. Cryptic text, unsettling visuals, and a recurring theme. Space Phenomenon. January 1st, 2009. 17 Uhr. Landwurster. And Darmstadt. Now, I'm fully aware I probably butchered the pronunciation, and for that, I apologize. But here's what we know. It's pointing to a very specific time and place. January 1st, 2009, 5 p.m., in Darmstadt, Germany. But when I tried to dig deeper, nothing came up. No reports of astronomical events, no recorded anomalies, just static silence, which only makes this video weirder. The entire channel, which I won't even attempt to pronounce, is filled with similarly obscure, unsettling content. Everything's in German, the editing is disjointed, and the meaning completely up for interpretation, or maybe deliberately hidden. So, what is this? A coded message? A piece of experimental art? Or something else entirely? Something we're not meant to fully understand? Whatever the case, the channel may be old, but it's a rabbit hole worth falling into. Because, like Space Phenomenon, it might just hold more secrets than we realize. That's all for today, folks. If you want to see more of this creepy content, click on the video on screen.